Hi everyone, it's Sashay Shantae. Now I am so excited because today I'm going to be showing you guys what it takes to get into full glamazon drag, so stick around. So I've got my wig grip on. Now all the products that you see me use today are from a company called Minifies. They're based here in Artio. They're truly amazing. They specialise in theatrical, stage makeup, special effects makeup, so you know it's going to last and it's going to be really high quality. So first step to get into drag is I'm going to be using Prosaide to block down my eyebrows. Alright, so I've just got that Prosaide on a toothbrush. Now this is my toothbrush that I use for getting into drag. I don't use this anywhere else obviously. And I'm just going back and forth against my eyebrow hairs, then pushing them up to get them to lay nice and flat. Now, a lot of drag queens like to use the good old glue stick, which may work for some people, but for me personally, on stage, I am sweating a lot. And I just find the Prosaide does not budge and the sweat cannot get through it. Alright, once those have gotten pretty much dry and hard to the touch, what I'm going to use is a layer of setting powder. Now, yours will not come looking like this. I'm using Nye Neutral set. Yours will come looking like this. But this one has seen a lot, but she still works good as new. So, just on a powder puff, I'm going to dip into that powder and just start pressing that in. Right, I've just put 2 pieces of masking tape on my face, which I know looks very weird, but it's going to help us when we do our eyeliner later on. So what I'm going to do next is foundation. Now, I like to use the Kryolan Supracolors. It is an amazing formula. It's so full coverage, but I like to use it in a range of shades. Now, I'll use these for my contour, my highlighter, and my eyeliner. But for my foundation, I like to use the shade ELO. So I'm just going to start putting that on my forehead, over my eyebrows, and on my nose. Alright, so I'm just picking that up with a brush first, and I'm just going to start painting that over my eyebrows, and you can see it is so full coverage. It is covering them right up. It is so good for drag. Alright, now I'm just going to grab a beauty blender and just start blending that out. Please note, I do know that this is not my exact colour match. However, I do like to go for a warmer shade in drag. I like to give myself a bit of a tan, and then what I like to do is I blend it right down my neck and I fake tan as well. So then it all matches together. So next up I'm going to contour, once again using Kryolan Supracolors. This one is in 039, so I'm just going to pick that up with a brush, go from my temples along my forehead, same on the other side, and back onto those temples. Alright, once I've got that painted on, the next thing I like to do is use another Supracolor in 046. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to put that right in those corners right there to add a little bit more dimension to my face. Then once again, I'm just going to grab another beauty blender and just start blending those out. So after that, I like to highlight my face using, surprise, surprise, the Kryolan Supracolors in 070. So I'm just going to pick that up onto a brush and just paint that right on to the center of my forehead, going slightly over my eyebrows and down my nose. Alright, yes, you know the drill by now. I'm going to grab another beauty blender and just blend that all out. Now that I've blended that out, I'm going to contour my nose using 039 in Supracolor, which was that color we used all along the forehead. So I'm just going to dip into a brush, and I'm just going to paint 2 lines down my nose, like so. Make them come closer together as I get to the bottom. Painting, getting closer and closer and closer, so they just about touch. So now I'm just blending out those lines, and with the Kryolan Supracolors formula, it is so creamy, it blends out like butter. Alright, now because I'm sick of looking like Voldemort, the next step I'm going to do is draw my eyebrows. Now I like to use this Kryolan Ultra Foundation Trio, and I'm going to use this darker shade right here to draw on some beautiful fierce brows. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start my eyebrows pretty much at the top of my natural eyebrows where they would end. So I'm just going to start drawing a nice line going up on the angle, then it going across to give me a nice sharp arch. So now I'm just using that Kryolan Supracolors in 070, again the same one that we use for our highlighter and our nose, and I'm just carving underneath the eyebrows and filling in all that space between my eyebrow and my eyeball. So everywhere I've used that white cream so far, I'm going to go in with Nye Super white powder to set. So I'm going to do my nose, my forehead, and under my eyebrow, and for the rest of my face I'm just going to go back in with that Nye Neutral set. What I'm going to do now is my eyeshadow. So I'm just grabbing a big fluffy brush with a bunch of brown eyeshadow, and I'm just going to start smacking that into my crease, going back and forth to blend it out. After I've got that first colour down, I'm dipping into a slightly darker shade on the exact same brush, and I'm just going to pop that into my crease again, but not blend it up as high. I added that one colour, and you can see it's made such a difference in the depth in my eye. Now obviously you can switch these out for any colours, for reds, yellows, greens, blue, pinks, purples, any colours you like. Alright, now I'm grabbing a smaller blending brush with a nice dark cool tone brown, and I'm just going to pack that in on the outer corners of my eye and right in the crease, but once again not blending it up nearly as high. Now the last colour I'm using is black, so I'm just going to put that right in the corner of my eye and blend it out in that same cat eye shape here. Alright, now I'm going to fill in my eyebrows using eyeshadow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lighter colour here and a darker colour here to keep that ombre effect going. Right, what I'm doing now is I'm using the Kryolan blush refills to go over my contour from before. Right, now we're going to jump back into the eyes. So I'm once again, I love these so much. Going back in with Kryolan Supracolors in 070, just on a concealer brush, I'm going to carve out my crease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my crease way higher and way wider than it naturally is to make my eye look a lot bigger. Alright, now you can see this eye looks a lot more open than this eye with that white crease painted on. And to set it, I'm going to go over top of it with Nye Super white again. Alright, so what I like to do for eyeliner is I like to trace it out with a pencil first. So this is a Kryolan eyeliner pencil. I need to buy a new one because she's very well loved. So once I've drawn that shape on, I'm going to fill it in with Kryolan Supracolors in 071, which is a pure black shade. Alright, so I've gone back and forth between the two eyes with that pencil from Kryolan, and now I'm going to go in with a flat angled brush and that Kryolan Supracolors in 071, which is just that black shade, and now I'm going to fill in all that space in between. Alright, now you can see we've got that eyeliner all painted on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dip back into my Nye Neutral set on my powder puff, and I'm going to put this over my whole eye, okay? Just to set that black Supracolor down, so I'm just going to close my eye and just pat lightly over the black. Alright, now that I've powdered that down, it's gone a bit dull, so I'm going to grab my black eyeshadow yet again. I'm going to go all over my eyeliner and blend it out into this. Alright, boom, now that our eyeliner and eyeshadow is done, we can peel back that tape. And thanks to the tape, we've got that nice sharp line. I'm just going to grab a makeup wipe and wipe off any extra powder. Now it's time for foundation on the rest of my face. So I'm going to switch to the Kryolan TV paint stick, and I'm just going to start slathering that on. This is such a good foundation for drag. It is super full coverage. I think every drag queen has tried this at least once. Right, once I've applied that everywhere, I'm going to go back with my beauty blender and I'm going to blend that all out. Right, now I'm going to highlight. I'm going to use the Kryolan TV paint stick again in 070. I'm going to go under my eyes, on top of my lip and on my chin. Then I'm going to grab my beauty blender again and just blend that all out. Right, just blend out all of that highlight, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start contouring again. So I'm going to use 039. I'm just going to grab a foundation brush. And I like to go from the corner of my ear to about like where my cheekbone ends. So I'm just going to paint a line straight on there. Just grabbing my beauty blender again for my contour and I'm just going to blend that out. Alright, once I've blended out all that contour, I'm going to grab my dark shade of contour that I used right in the temples here, picking that up with that same foundation brush. But I'm just going to pot it right in the corner of my cheekbones and blend that pretty much just in a circle, so it's only right in the back corners. Then what I like to do is I like to carve underneath my contour. So I'm going to grab my Supracolor in ELO on a squared foundation brush and pretty much just carve from right there to the corners of my mouth. Like so, blending that down. And that's how I get my nice sharp contour. Once that is all carved out, I'm going to go over top of my whites with Nye Super white powder again, and the rest of my face with Nye Neutral set. Alright, I'm just grabbing a nice piece of card and I'm going to line that up like so to my contour. And then I'm just going to grab a big fluffy brush with my contour shade on it, the same one I used on my forehead, and just blend that out like so. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to dip back into my neutral set one last time, and I'm just going to start baking under my cheek, on top of my lip, on my chin, and the under eyes. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my blush. So while that's baking, I've got the Kryolan blush refills. I'm just going to pack it onto this brush here, and I'm just going to go all over my cheek and up onto my forehead. Right, now I'm going to grab a very small fluffy brush, and I'm just going to go along the edges of my nose to reinforce that nose contour. Alright, as you can see, I'm deciding to do my under eye makeup. So I'm using the same colours as we used up here, but I'm following the same shape that we've created with this eyeliner. So instead of going right up with my natural lash line, I'm gonna go across to match the eyeliner. Now that I've done every colour that we've used up here, down here, I'm gonna go in with the Kryolan black eyeliner pencil again and just fill in my waterline. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a small flat angled brush and dip back into my Super color in 070, which is once again just that white shade. And I'm gonna paint between my new under eye lash line and my eyeliner. Now that that's all done, I'm just gonna grab a small fluffy brush and just brush away all of that bake that we laid down before. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to spray my face with a little bit of setting spray, just a little bit like so. Then I'm just going to grab my finger and dip into the Kryolan Ultra Fine Glitter, and I'm just going to tap that on to my cheekbone, kind of like where you put highlighter. Alright, I've put some lashes on. They're quite natural, as you can tell. I'm just going to grab a little bit of purple cream and rub this on my lips before we start on our lipstick and lip liner. Now I'm going to fill in my lips using the Kryolan lipstick in a beautiful red shade. Alright, as you can see, the face makeup is all done, however, the transformation is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Kryolan Mastix Spirit Gum and glue on my wig. I'm going to slip into a little dress and I'll be right back for you guys. Alright team, and that completes my full face of drag makeup from Minifies. So if you want to use any of the products I used today, or if you want to try out a new colour, a new something, head to minifies.co.nz and check out their amazing range. You will not be disappointed, I promise you that.